Let me tell you a quiet truth most men never hear growing up. They're taught to chase, to impress, to lead with charm and close with compliments. But they're never taught presence. They're never taught the difference between flattery and truth. You see, a compliment isn't just something you say to be polite. It's a mirror, a test, a tool. Most men hand out compliments like candy, sweet, forgettable, and empty. You're beautiful. I love your smile. You're so hot. She's heard it all. Not once, not twice, 1,000 times. And every time it fades before it even reaches her heart. Why? Because it was never meant for her. It was meant for attention, approval, a reaction. But a real compliment, one that's felt, is different. It's not about saying something nice. It's about saying something true, something that makes her pause and wonder. How did he see that in me when even I forgot it was there? That's what Stoic men do. They don't praise what's obvious. They acknowledge what's rare. Because when a woman feels deeply seen, not just for how she looks, but for how she exists, that's when everything changes. So in this video, I'm going to give you 8 compliments that aren't loud, but they echo. They don't just touch her ears, they touch her identity. Say them with stillness, say them with sincerity, say them only when they're earned, and you'll never be forgotten. Because when words come from depth, they don't fade, they root. Let's begin. 1. You think in layers. Most people live in straight lines. This one doesn't flatter, it awakens. Because when you say this, you're not complimenting her intelligence. You're recognizing the quiet complexity behind her calm. You're telling her, I don't just hear your words, I feel the thought beneath them. You see the pauses, the metaphors, the way she connects dots others don't even notice. Most women are forced to make their minds smaller to be understood by men who only listen to react. But this tells her she can expand around you. She doesn't have to edit herself. Say it when she's unpacking something she's passionate about. When her eyes shift and her thoughts move faster than her sentences, that's when you drop it, gently, confidently, with presence. And in that moment, you're not validating her. You're mirroring her truth back to her. And that's rare, because most men speak to be heard. But the Stoic man, he observes to understand. And that, brother, is the difference between being remembered and being felt. 2. You give calm in a world addicted to chaos. This is not a compliment most women ever hear, because most men only notice a woman's body, rarely her energy. But energy, that's the real currency of presence. And when you say this to her, you're telling her she brings something that can't be seen, only felt. She might not realize it herself. She moves through the world quietly, holding space for others without needing applause, easing tension without being asked, soothing the storm without even knowing there was one. Say this when you're both somewhere still, when the world feels like it's slowed down around her. It could be a quiet walk, a silent car ride with no words and no rush, or even just a moment where her presence feels like exhale. Look at her, not with intensity, with steadiness. Then say it, you give calm in a world addicted to chaos. And then pause. Let the weight of your words do the work. Because what you're telling her is this: I don't need you to be loud or perfect or dazzling. I feel something different around you. I feel safe. And that hits deep, because most women are praised for being exciting, but not for being grounding, not for making people feel like they can finally breathe. And that's exactly what separates you. You didn't compliment her outfit. You didn't comment on her figure. You saw the thing she probably forgot was valuable: her presence. That's the kind of compliment that rewires her. She'll walk away with your words echoing in her chest, not because you wanted something from her, but because you gave her something she didn't know she was missing: recognition. 3. You're stronger than you act and softer than you admit. This one isn't just a compliment. It's a mirror held up to a woman who's been hiding in plain sight. Because most women wear 2 masks, one to show they're capable and another to hide how much it all weighs. But when you say this, you're stronger than you act and softer than you admit, you're not just noticing her, You're understanding her. It tells her, I see the parts of you that fight quietly, and the ones you protect fiercely, and I respect both. Say this when she opens up about something personal, a story of struggle, responsibility, something from childhood, or just the silent exhaustion of being the strong one all the time. Look her in the eyes, steady, calm, no rush to fix, no urge to pity, just presence. Then deliver it gently, like a truth she didn't expect you to see. Because most men either worship a woman's strength or they chase after her softness. Very few know how to acknowledge both and hold space for them at once. And when you do, you create emotional gravity. Suddenly, you're not just a guy who listens. You become the man who saw behind her strength and honored the vulnerability behind it. Because every strong woman is tired of pretending she's not tired, and every soft woman is scared of being broken. But when you hold both of those truths in one sentence, you give her a kind of safety that doesn't shout. It grounds her, and that's the difference between chemistry and connection. You didn't chase her walls. You saw the woman behind them, and that's unforgettable. 4. There's something about you that makes silence feel safe. Most people fear silence. They fill it with noise, jokes, scrolling, small talk, anything to avoid sitting still with someone else's presence. Because silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's the presence of truth. And truth, for most, is too loud. But not with her. When you say, there's something about you that makes silence feel safe, you're telling her something deeper than romance. You're telling her she brings peace where others bring pressure. Say it when you're sitting side by side, watching the city move outside a window, lying down and just existing in the stillness, or walking together with no words, just footsteps in air. Don't force the moment, let it arrive, then say it slowly with intention. Because in a world where everyone's performing, this tells her, I don't need you to entertain me. I enjoy your presence as it is. You don't have to impress me, I'm already here. And that kind of calm, it's seductive, because it signals strength without dominance. It says, I am not threatened by stillness, I live in it. Most men break the silence out of insecurity, but a stoic man holds it and lets her feel herself inside it. And if she feels more herself in your presence than anywhere else, she'll crave you, not for your charm, but for your peace. That's what makes her stay. Not because she has to speak to be heard, but because she finally found someone she doesn't have to speak around at all. 5. You don't try to be different. You just are. In a world addicted to performance, this one lands like truth. Because most women, even the confident ones, are constantly calibrating. How should I act? Will this be too much? Should I tone this down? They're taught to fit in, not to stand out naturally. So when you say, you don't try to be different, you just are. You're not complimenting her style or her talent or her beauty. You're complimenting her essence, the part of her that didn't ask for attention, but has it anyway. You're saying, I see the part of you that didn't perform and still stole the whole room. This isn't something you say when she's dressed to impress. It hits hardest in those quiet, unguarded moments. Maybe she's wearing no makeup. Maybe her hair is a mess. Or maybe she's saying something random, something weird, something her, and she second guesses herself. That's your moment. Look at her with steady calm and say it, not with excitement, not with flirtation, but like a man recognizing something rare. Because what this line does is give her permission to stop curating, to stop tweaking herself for approval, to stop dimming her light so others can tolerate it. And in that moment, you become the one man who didn't fall for the version she tried to be. You saw the version she forgot she was. That's deeper than attraction. That's recognition. And women don't forget the man who recognized them before they remembered themselves. 6. You'd be dangerous if you ever realized how beautiful your mind is. This one isn't cute. It's disarming because it doesn't just flatter. It plants a seed and walks away. Most women are used to being told they're smart, but rarely are they made to feel that their mind is powerful, desirable, uncontainable. And when you say, you'd be dangerous, If you ever realized how beautiful your mind is, you're not just observing her, you're inviting her to see herself the way you do. And that's magnetic. This isn't a line you drop randomly, it's a line for timing. Say it when she shares something profound without trying, when she says something poetic without noticing, when she opens her mouth and accidentally reveals the universe sitting behind her eyes. That's when you pause, not with excitement, not with shock, with calm, locked-in focus. Say it like you've just realized something, and you're letting her in on it. Because what this does is shake her confidence in the best way. It makes her question what she's been taught about herself. Not her looks, not her charm, but her mind. And that creates a storm inside her. Not because you complimented her, but because you challenged her to see a version of herself that might still be sleeping. She'll think about it later, in the shower, in her bed, at work. Why did he say that? What did he mean? You've just haunted her in the most respectful way possible, not by touching her, but by activating her. And that, my brother, is the kind of fire that doesn't burn out, it burns through. 7. You remind me of someone I haven't met yet. Read that again. You remind me of someone I haven't met yet. It sounds like a riddle, but it hits like soul recognition. Because you're not saying, I've seen someone like you before. You're saying, there's something in you that feels familiar and yet entirely new. It speaks to the paradox inside all of us. We crave mystery, but we long for something that feels like home. This line holds both. It makes her feel like a story that hasn't been told yet, but was always meant to be. Say it in a quiet moment, when you're just vibing, no flirting, no agenda, just that slow burn of comfort and curiosity blending into one. And when you say it, don't explain it. Don't rush it. Just let it hang in the air. Let her wonder, what part of me does he recognize? Why does it feel like he knows something I don't? You've just opened a loop in her mind that only you can close. Not with more words, but with more presence. Because now, you're not just a man she's talking to. You've become part of a deeper, unnamed narrative. One that feels like fate, like memory, like maybe, just maybe, you were meant to show up now. And that, brother, that kind of connection can't be forced. It's felt. And once it's felt, she won't just remember you. She'll look for you, in every room, in every silence, until she finds that feeling again. 8. You walk like you own the story no one else has read. This is not a compliment. It's a statement of power, because you're not admiring how she looks. You're acknowledging how she moves through the world. She might not speak loudly. She might not dress to impress, but her presence, it carries a gravity. Like she's been through things, but didn't let them break her voice. And this line, you walk like you own the story no one else has read. It tells her, you don't need to explain yourself to be understood, because I already see there's depth behind your silence. Say it when she's walking ahead of you, or when she enters a room and changes the temperature. When she laughs, but you sense there's more behind it. That's when this hits hardest. Because women who carry pain with grace, women who've rebuilt themselves in the dark, often feel unseen in the daylight. This line brings it all into the open, without exposing her. You're not asking for her story. You're simply letting her know, I don't need to read the whole book to respect the author. That kind of awareness, that's not attraction, that's reverence. And when a woman feels revered, not idolized, not sexualized, but deeply respected, she locks in. Because you've just done what most men can't. You didn't chase her surface. You honored her shadow. If even one of these lines made you stop and think, damn, I've never said that to a woman before, then you've already leveled up. Because compliments aren't supposed to be noise. They're supposed to be keys. Keys that unlock something inside her and something inside you. The world is full of men who speak to be noticed. But Stoic men, we speak to be felt. We don't flatter, we observe, we don't chase, we pull, and we don't perform, we reflect. So if you're the kind of man who values quiet strength, who builds depth in a shallow world, then you're one of us. Drop one word in the comments. Felt.